Hello, Internet. How's it going? I got new mermicorn hair. I don't know if it just looks black, but it's actually quite rainbowed in here. It's important. It's important to me, that you know that this is mermicorn hair. Also, I have this sweet Star Trek Spock massage shirt on. So I'm kind of living my best life right now. And the dog is being apologetic because he tried to ruin several videos earlier. So I'm just gonna pick him up. He can be in this one. Yeah, hi, Falcor. No, not. I don't want to say hi to you. Say hi to you all the time. Say hi to the internet. Hello, internet. I'm a dog. This is why I only have 3 friends. But they love me. Okay, anyway. Hello, internet. How's it going? Today we're going to talk about tipping and whether or not you should tip your massage therapist. So I'm just going to give you a quick spoiler alert for the rest of the video. The answer is yes. Yes, you should. Now, how much you should tip them varies on where they work and how they're employed there. So, also, this being said, I am biased because tips make my soul happy. And even though I am a self-employed massage therapist, I still like tips. Tips are never expected, but always appreciated. And part of the thing is, a lot of independent massage therapists who own their own business, they will factor in tipping into their pricing. Not all do that. So if you're not sure, always feel free to ask. Be like, hey, does that price include gratuity? And then I can be like, no, it does not. Or maybe your therapist will say, yes, it does. A small indicator can be the price itself. I charge $80 an hour. I'm in Northern Virginia. That is not expensive. There's a lot of people up here who are charging $120 for 50 minutes, which is a lot of money. That being said, that's what they want to make, and they're including their gratuity into their pricing. Now, that being said, that person who charges $120 for 50 minutes of massage, they're not going to be mad if you slip them an extra $20. No one is angry about being tipped. All right. So, backtrack. I'm independently owned. I do not include gratuity in my pricing for a few reasons. One of which is I have the plan to hire more independent contractors to work for me. So I currently have one massage therapist working for me. So I pay him a percentage of what people pay. And then I would like for them to tip him on top of that. Tipping is a little like monopoly money, or it would be, in theory. Of course, I claim all of my tips because I would always do that because I'm that person. But some massage therapists who aren't me, maybe they don't claim their tips, and it means a small percentage of their income is not being taxed. But not me. I actually do claim most of my tips because it gives me a higher income bracket, which means I qualify for better loans. Adulting sucks, guys. Don't do it. Stay young forever. Anyway, so that's part of it. I want to hire other people being part of it, and I want them to be tipped so they get a higher percentage. And yes, in theory, I could charge more and then just pay them more. But I think everybody likes tips. I think that's just a thing. And then on top of that is I want to be affordable and accessible for as many people as possible. So I do have some clients who can't tip, and that doesn't bother me because I know that they're making an effort to come see me at my prices, and they're good clients. They're easy clients. They refer, like they're good, decent people. A lot of them are elderly on fixed incomes. Like, if they can only afford $80 a session, I'm not going to deny them that just because I want to make an extra $20. Or sometimes I have people in between jobs, and life happens. Sometimes you can tip $10, sometimes you can tip $50. Like, I'd like to leave it a little more open for the client. So that's how I do it. And yeah, in an ideal world, I would just make the price what I want to make it and everyone could pay it. But tipping is a very common practice here in the United States, and I don't think it's going anywhere. And like I said, I want to be affordable and accessible for most people, or all people. I'd love to massage everyone, but I don't have the hand strength for it. So, tipping. Do it. It's good for you. It gives you great karma, good juju. Tip. That being said, what should you tip? So, massage, like anything else, 10, 15, 20%. But some places are a little tricky with that. So depending on where you see your massage therapist might depend on how much you tip. Now, I've worked in all sorts of environments. So I've worked for chiropractors. Almost never get tips when you work for a chiropractor, and a big part of that is because people are coming in to see you, they're using their insurance, they're not actually paying for your service. So it kind of just slips their mind that that's something that they should do or might want to do. But every time, like, someone would slip me a $5 bill, like, I was so excited. I was like, thank you so much. This means the world to me. So definitely, I think people who work for chiropractors expect less in the way of tips, but that still doesn't mean you can't tip, even if it's a small amount. And that being said, like, unless you're, like, counting pennies, any tip is better than no tip. So, like, I have one woman, she always tips me $10. It's not a substantial tip, but it's $10 I didn't have that she added on that shows me that she appreciated the hard work that I did for her. So that $10 means a lot to me. So chiropractor, kind of less so. Spas, they're counting on the tips. They really are. They make different money for different services. They're hoping you're going to pay a percentage of whatever you paid, but it's straightforward. There's no weird math, which leads me to franchises. I hate franchises. I worked for one. I won't tell you which one, but it was awful. So, the way it is structured is those massage therapists make very little money, and then they're promised that their tip is essentially going to be the same as the amount they make. So they're making anywhere from $15 to $20 for 1 hour of massage, which is actually usually 50 minutes of massage. And then they're being told that they're going to be tipped, $15 to $20 at least. And then a lot of the times, the people coming in, they're paying like $60. So they're thinking $6 is 10%, $12 is 20%. I'll give you a $12 tip. And you're just sitting there being like, okay, thank you so much. And it is a little more difficult because when you're only making $15 to $20, you need that extra $15 to $20 to be able to pay your bills. So a lot of the times that's very difficult and frustrating. And the front desk at those places a lot of times will be like, oh, but it was $120 value, so you have to tip on that. And that, like, logic for people is like, wait, but that's not what I'm paying. So basically, franchises are trying to get their customers to make up the lack of salary that they're giving to their employees. I'm not scarred. I'm fine. Didn't traumatize me working in a place like that. I'm fine. I'm fine. So if you're going to a franchise, you really should tip, and tip well. It's just a pro tip from me. People who own their own business, like I said, like any tip makes me happy, makes me feel appreciated. Not everybody tips, and I understand that. That being said, some of the people who don't tip also like jingle their Ferrari keys in front of my face, and that one hurts a little bit, just a little bit. Another reason you should tip is because if you take care of your therapist will take care of you. Now, that being said, I'm not saying you need to tip for better service. I am awesome. I am always awesome. If you tip, if you don't tip, if I like you, if I don't like you. That being said, I'm very fortunate. I like all my clients now. This is the benefit of owning your own business, is you kind of filter out the clients who drive you bananas. So, but I always give the same level of customer service. You are always going to get an amazing massage from me. It doesn't matter tip or no tip. What makes the difference is if I'm fully booked, if I have a full day's book and you text me and you want to come in, if you're a good client, I'll make room for you. And now, not always. I don't want you to like watch this if you're my client and be like, well, I've texted you last minute and you didn't make room for me. Sometimes I am too fully booked. So like I always try to aim for 5 or 6 hours of massage in a day. I'll go up to 7. I won't go past 7.5 because then my hands fall off. So it does, like, there is more factors. I'm just saying that, like, when you're a good client, I'll kind of bend the rules a little bit and I'll go that extra mile. If you're running late and you're a good client and you're not normally late, like, I will usually, if I can, give you your full time. Stuff like that. So it's like, I will always do the awesome, but I will go above and beyond for people who are good clients. And that doesn't always mean people who tip well. Now, that being said, all of my clients who tip well are good clients, but not all of my good clients tip well. I've got clients who just have life going on, and I would never hold that against them, and I'll still try to go the extra mile for those people too. I'm just trying to make a point that I don't want it to seem like I don't want to be like, hey, better have my money if you want good service, because that's 100% not how I operate. But it is very like situational, especially, like I said, I used to work at one of those franchises, and when I had people there who wouldn't tip, I would send them to another therapist who was less busy, because I was requested at like 97%. I was doing like 30 massages in a week, which is insane, but like I was so busy. And then when like I had a client who'd come in and then not tip, and I'd only be making the $20 from that session, it wasn't worth my time, because I knew I could get someone else in there and make the $40 for that session. And I needed that. I needed to pay bills. I needed to make money. So it does kind of factor in. I guess the moral of this video is you should tip your therapist. If you can't tip your therapist, you don't need to go into detail, but you could potentially just be like, oh, hey, yeah, life's crazy, finances are insane. Your therapist won't hold it against you, but if you can tip your therapist, absolutely do so. 15, 18, 20% would be ideal in that situation. And if you're not sure, just ask your therapist, like, hey, does this price include gratuity? If it doesn't, what does a typical tip look like for you? It's really funny. I have this like love of when I'm handed a $20 bill, and sometimes it's not even percentage wise like a good tip, like when I do a 2-hour but it's just something about that crisp 20, because I'm still like 17 years old inside, and I'm just like, oh, money, thank you. But like, I'd say most of my people tip me probably 18%. That seems right. I have a few people who tip excessively, and I love you. Thank you. You're a kind soul. Yeah, so tip your therapist. Tipping leads to good karma and good juju. And yeah, I hope this video didn't come off wrong. I really hope that like people aren't worried if they don't tip that they're going to get crap service, because I really don't think that the majority of therapists operate like that. But if you're like a good client, then your therapist will be even more amazing than they already were. Bye, Internet.